Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my How to Baldur's Gate series. I hope you can hear me okay and all that jazz. Um, why am I doing a how to series? I'm doing a how to series because I have the delight of being a part of this amazing community of fans and players that for whatever reason seem to struggle with a lot of the combat, a lot of the character building. I've talked to a lot of people who haven't made it past Act 1 or 2 and they're still trying to get into Act 3 even 300 hours in. So I thought to myself, I've finished the game 8 times. Maybe now would be a good time to start kind of putting some tips and tricks out there for other people. So I'm going to do that. This is a safe space. I ask for you to have some discretion in what you're saying and doing, mind your language, no fighting. If you want to side seat and give me advice, you're welcome to do that. This is a mental health space. As a certified life coach, I do support mental health conversations, so if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. Obviously, feel free to ask me questions about Baldur's Gate. Like I said, I have completed the game 8 times, including very nearly, getting my honor mode a couple of days ago. I'm more than happy to share what I've learned about the game and just fun ways to get through it. Not super technical, min-max your character ways to get through it. Just how to balance your party so that you're getting the most out of your skill sets, what feats really work well based on what you're doing, what options work best, and how to approach some situations. Let's do this. We're going to start with, of course, the nautiloid, but we're going to do character building first because I feel like that's a little easy to take for granted. I'm going to be doing this game on balanced, so for those of you that are in it for the story, please do Explorer. Please do Explorer if you want to do it for the story. There's no reason to make it more difficult than it already is. You can get 90% of the achievements and have just as rich an experience by doing Explorer. If you're playing this on Tactician or Honor mode, a lot of my tactics and tips will work for that, but please account for the legendary actions and, increased difficulty. But I'm going to throw out some good tips for Honor mode kind of as we go. So let's watch the cutscene. For those of you that may not have seen it, although I feel like at this point, if you know anything about Baldur's Gate, you've probably seen most of the intro at the very least. That scene makes me so squeamish. Okay. Excuse me. Choking on my coffee, actually. We will not be resetting the tutorial. Not needed. Okay, so, for starters, character creation is so much fun and you can spend so much time here. But, for those of you who are familiar with the characters, whether you've seen them on TikTok or you've done a few playthroughs or whatever, I always like to kind of determine from this point who my main party is going to be. Obviously, I'll switch people out as I go, depending on what storylines and stuff come up, but who do you expect to have in your main party? Who do you think you're going to want to take with you almost everywhere, right? For me, I have a couple of teams that I'm super fond of. I really like taking Astarion with me everywhere because it makes it a lot easier to get into places, and there is so much benefit to having someone who can do sneak attack. Having a rogue in the party is pretty important. Not necessary, but pretty important. So I like to take him with me no matter who I'm playing, what class I'm playing, whatever. The other thing with that is kind of thinking about, like, who's going to be the person who is tanking, who's going to be the person who's healing, and that's kind of like the mains there, right? Having a caster or not is kind of up to you. I like the versatility of having a caster, so often I will play the person who's dealing damage. Your tab should be the one that fills in the gap. So if you know, yes, I definitely want to travel with Karlach, Gale, and Shadowheart, you don't need a tank, you don't need a healer, and you don't need a caster, but what you do need is a rogue. You need someone who's going to get into places and do damage from a distance. Lots of DPS, as it's called. So something like a ranger would be a great fit for a Karlach, Gale, Shadowheart team. Let's say you really just want to get in there and destroy things and do a lot of damage, and you want to do Lae'zel, Karlach, and Shadowheart. Kind of the same thing. You're still going to need someone that can pick locks, but Shadowheart can also double as your lock picker. You can restat her once you have withers, and that gives you the option to kind of like build into that a little bit. Other thoughts are, if you want to go more casting heavy, because you really like to do that magic damage, for instance. Sorry, I'm just turning on my lights. If you really like to do that damage and you want to do Will and Gale and do some kind of spellcaster yourself, then you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're taking Lae'zel or Karlach with you. So you have at least one person who can get in there, draw aggro, and really do some damage. So think about what this team is going to look like. I always say choose the characters you love the most. Don't overthink balancing your party. You can restat people. What stories are you the most invested in? What characters are you the most invested in, right? For me, I will probably choose to roll with Astarion, like I said, and Shadowheart, because I don't personally like being a support character, and she just is a really great support character. She does all the healing and buffing and all that. And then I'll probably rotate between the other four, pretty much. So having a character that's going to be built to do damage is probably what I want. So I like to start with my class. I am so sorry about the coughing. So I want to talk a little bit about classes. Once you've kind of decided, okay, I'm going to be the fighter in the group, right? There's obviously options here. Barbarian, fighter, paladin, monk. All of those are really great damage dealers. Clerics can also be really good in that role. I know paladin is the most popular class, but if this is your first playthrough, or if you've had a hard time getting through Acts 1 and 2, I implore you, do not pick paladin. It's going to complicate matters. There's a lot of really difficult story that comes up that challenges your paladin and challenges the oath. I wouldn't recommend that. And while they do deal a lot of damage and they can do a little bit of healing, sometimes it's just easier to really cash in on being something like a fighter or a barbarian early on. And you can always multi-class into that paladin later in the story. So you get your smites and everything else. Really, as long as you're getting about 8 levels of paladin, you're gonna do a lot of damage. And pairing that with something like fighter could be really great. But I would start with fighter. Start with something with high versatility so that you can really kind of push into the story a little easier. Other classes I would encourage you to avoid to begin with are monk, bard, and sorcerer. I feel like those classes really require a lot of understanding about the game mechanics to really make them magical. Especially if you're playing it on Explorer, or if you're not planning to multi-class, or you don't understand multi-classing just yet, I highly recommend you stay away from those classes as they need a little bit more knowledge and understanding and experience. But if that's what you want to do, you do you. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. So for the sake of this story and this teaching, we're going to go with a straightforward fighter. This is a fighter. Hurrah! We're going to choose a fighting style. I'm going to go with great weapon. And for my background, I like to choose a background that's going to mirror one of the main party members. So if you choose Will, choose Folk Hero. You choose Astarion, choose Charlatan. If you go with Karlach, choose Outlander. That way, every time you gain an inspiration point, you're actually gaining 2 inspiration points. It's a great trick for ensuring that your inspiration just keeps coming. So, I'm going to do Charlatan because I know I'm going to have Astarion with me basically the entire game. It's very rare that I ever pull him out. As a fighter type, knowing I'm going to do great weapons, I'm going to do strength. Something to keep in mind is that these classes are more than just how well you fight, right? Your strength is also your athleticism. Can you jump long distances? Can you jump vertically up long distances? Can you lift large boulders? Can you toss enemies or pick up heavy objects? Your strength has a lot of importance in this game, from breaking walls to achieving really strange, getting really strange achievements, I mean. Dexterity is more than just, and strength is going to be anything that's a strength-based weapon. Hammers, maces, great weapons are all strength-based. If you're trying to use a short sword, a rapier, a scimitar, none of those weapons are going to do well with a strength-based character. So think about what kind of weapon you see yourself carrying. If you don't see yourself running around with a big-ass war axe, that's probably not what you want. Dexterity is your stealth. It's your ability to dodge. Your initiative comes from your dexterity, and your stats like sleight of hand and stealth come from that. But more importantly, dexterity is also your ability to do ranged attacks, bow and arrow, crossbow. It's your finesse weapons, short swords, rapiers, scimitars, daggers. So, kind of like with strength, it would be better for you to have a high dexterity if you want to be a fast-moving, rapier-wielding character, rather than a great axe-wielding character. Your constitution is how well you take a hit, and the amount of hit points that you have. Your intelligence is going to determine not just how smart you are and how you handle certain situations, but it affects things like your perception. And you can always kind of come in here to see what each of these skills requires. So your perception's wisdom. And these base numbers are directly related to the numbers here, as well as certain skill proficiencies. And your skill proficiencies also come from your background. So depending on your background, you'll get certain skills as a bonus, right? Okay. So in the case of my character, I need to finish restatting first. Something that I try to do is I try to have round numbers. The odd numbers, unless you're planning to put your feats into rounding those numbers out, don't do you any good. At the end of the day, you only get bonuses for every round number. So having odd numbers doesn't help anything. Another consideration is if you're going to be the main character of your story, right? No matter what, you're going to be the main character. You want to do all the talking. You want to be the center of attention. 100% invest in charisma. 100%. You can get stronger armor. You can get things that, you know, kind of boost certain skill sets and whatever. But there's no replacement for having a decent charisma score right out the gate. Again, I apologize for coughing. I don't even know where that's coming from. Okay, so, and obviously skill points cost more the higher up you go. So I have 1 ability point left. Something's going to be an odd number. That's not a big deal. The point is to just try to round out your numbers so that you're getting the best possible stats. So this is going to give you a +2, +2, +1, +3. Every point over 10, or every 2 points over 10 gives you a +1. So we're just going to stick that in intelligence. I'll stick it in dex. Okay. Then you kind of look at these, see what you really need, right? Depending on your race, you'll also get bonuses to some of these, so keep that in mind. Insight is ridiculously important. Perception is ridiculously important. But you have other characters and they're going to have the ability to help you with that, right? So consider what you're going to want to do the most, what you're going to need the most, and go from there. I like to invest in acrobatics. I like to invest in athletics, especially if I'm going to be a fighter. So I'm going to invest my points in athletics and insight. Yeah. So athletics and insight. There we go. Now, we're going to get into building our actual character. Every character has racial traits. Hellish resistance is great if you want to be a tiefling. They also get dark vision. Cannot understate how important having dark vision is. There's only a few races that have dark vision. Tieflings, drow, and I think orcs? Yeah, half orcs. The rest of them don't. Night vision is stupidly helpful. Also consider the skill that you get from your sub-race if you have that option. I like to do tieflings because they have night vision and hellish resistance, and there's a lot of fire in this game, so having that ability to kind of take a little less fire damage, so helpful. And I like going Zariel because it gives you thaumaturgy, so anytime you're intimidating or doing performance, trying to deceive people, potentially, you're gonna get some bonuses. Okay. The world is your oyster. Do as you please. Obviously, that's the name of the game here. So for the sake of kind of making this easy, I'm just going to do my usual character, maybe with a little bit of a different take on her today. I kind of have like a typical character that I go for, so this tends to go fairly easy. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. But you know, half the joy is just taking your time and doing this, right? Like, whatever makes you happy as far as your look goes. It's you. Be whoever you want to be. I've seen a lot of people really struggle with, like, character creation. Just be who you want to be. Remember that you can play again. It's a video game. You can do this 100 times if you want to. it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's only as complicated as you make it. And ultimately, you're going to be able to come back and do it again and again and again and again and again. And God knows we all do that. We all come back again and again and again. So just have fun with it. I thought that wasn't intense enough. Okay. This one's going to be me rather than Bebrus, so we're going to do the short horns. I like to do my hair before, like the hair color, before I do the style so I can see how it looks. And I start with my typical color combinations, and then I kind of adjust from there. It's just easier. Sometimes I like to think about it kind of practically. This character's a fighter. Would she want her hair in her face? Probably not, right? Things like that, like how practical do I want to be today? Is she more fun? Does she want to like have her hair in her face? Is that like her jam? She keep it short and to the point? Who is the character? And she doesn't need a whole damn backstory. Characters don't need a whole backstory. If you don't have a whole backstory, that's okay. Let her story be written in the decisions she makes and the way she steps through the world. I don't know. The point is to have fun with it. I see a lot of people get really hung up on the details and just miss out on enjoying themselves. I think it makes a lot of sense for her to have short hair. Because she's a fighter, and why would she have long hair if she's a fighter? I just have to decide which one now. Also, I am a fan of short hair, so... Got it narrowed down now, I just have to decide. I think we're gonna do that one. Am I happy with my highlights? Pretty much. I actually like it quite a lot. I like it worked out. Nice. Proceed. So, for the sake of this being kind of a how-to, we're going to just go with my name.
You need a guardian. Choose one.
Of course, the guardian is an opportunity to have fun and do a whole other thing for the sake of just keeping this moving along a little bit, because I did a lot of talking about character creation. We're just going to pick somebody. We'll go type 2. Also, I love the randomizer. They give you some crazy stuff. Look at him. Look at his purple hair. That's nifty. Let's see. They give you some crazy combinations. I love the use of the, like, color and everything. Ooh. Oh, I like him. We're gonna go with him. Venture forth. Enjoy the cutscene. I love that cutscene. It is like so beautiful. So even though I'll probably like clip around it for like my highlights and stuff, like I just like watching it. You know, when my cat isn't distracting me in the middle of it. Okay, so first things first, the nautiloid. On the side of the screen, I have a few kind of like notes, keynotes about the nautiloid. So we've got 4 chests, 4 possible combats, 3 possible allies, and 1 legendary item or hard to get rare item.
My head. Very well.
Obviously, if you like to click everything and touch everything and do everything, 100% encourage you to touch everything. For the sake of kind of keeping it to tactics, keeping it to kind of getting through the game, I'm not going to do absolutely every little thing. So please take your time and enjoy it. First things first, we're going to want to pick up the chest. Gonna want to pick up all the chests.
What's in here?
So when you get out, you're going to come up around the back. There's an onyx on this table, the chest over there. Sometimes that chest will just have money. Sometimes it'll be chest and an item. That second item is entirely random. I've had games where it's an actual grenade. I've had games where it's not there at all, like just now.
Dead. Good.
So it's always worth it to check these chests and pick them up. You're going to want them. Obviously, click around, look at all the stuff, read all the things. There's lots and lots to do in this room. So room 2, you have the goblin over here. Make sure to loot him. It's only 3 gold, but early game that's very helpful. Now, up over here, of course, we have us. I recommend you get Shadowheart and come back to us. If you're playing a dexterous class and you want to go for it, you're welcome to, but I find that little extra guidance makes a difference. Again, for the sake of kind of keeping things moving, and for all of you that kind of get stuck in the nautiloid or you've done it a dozen times and you just want to get through it, this is how to get through it.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
My head. What is this? Skvar, you are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
What do you suggest?
First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane.
Also, I talked to the characters. Just be warned. I might be teaching you, but I'm also having fun. Lae'zel goes right.
Blood comes easy these days. Here we
You
go
go
again.
So, go ahead. Too far away, so we're gonna go ahead and end.
Swift and lethal.
Be sure to really take advantage of Lae'zel's athleticism. It's phenomenal.
I will not
expect no failure.
Fantastic.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle.
Loot everything.
Now, to the helm.
Time to press ahead.
Make sure to loot everything in this room. There's a lot of valuable items. Weapons, axes,
hiding
sometimes potions, like that one. All of which are just going to help you in the long run. This is especially important if you're planning to do, or if you're doing it on honor mode. Honor mode and tactical. Super, super important. Make sure you loot everything. There's actually some really valuable stuff in here. Okay. And obviously, if you do not decide to help us, then you don't have to worry about
Machinery. I can make no sense
being
of it.
attacked by the mind devourers here, intellectual devourers in this room, because us is the one that alerts them that you don't belong. For these guys, I like to just kill them. You get the XP, you get to loot them. I mean, you can play with the control panel and electrocute them. You don't get as much XP. So this is just kind of like an XP trick. You get the benefit of having fought them. Make sure you pick up the jar here. Again, for the sake of just kind of getting through this, we're going to ignore Shadowheart for right now and just go get what we need to unlock her. If you talk to Shadowheart, she'll prompt you to go look for a way to release her from her pod. The way that you release her from the pod is by taking the rune off of the dead thrall back here. Pick that up. Again, we want the chest. We're gonna take the green mines.
Rain in a jar.
That's the rune we were looking for.
But for what?
Then we're gonna go ahead and just jump right on it.
The console appears dormant.
Put the rune in the socket.
The console hums to life.
You can do the Arcana check if you want to. I already know I don't have the
Suddenly,
skills.
you feel a hideous squirming in your head. A parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Okay. Don't fail this roll. I mean, you basically have to roll a 1 to fail this roll, so don't fail the roll.
You feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
Poor Shadowheart.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a Gith with you.
She heard that too.
Dangerous company.
Dangerous company is what you need in a
Fair
fight.
point. Looks like there's plenty of fighting ahead. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
Alright, then let's get going. I'm Redonia.
Shadowheart. One moment.
Come on, time to go.
Finally. Let us make for the helm. We've wasted enough time already.
She's right. Lead on.
So, now's your opportunity, if you wanted to go back and get us. It doesn't affect the story in any way to double back at this point. And you get the perk of having Shadowheart with you, which should make it a little bit easier. A little bit easier is not a guarantee. If you're determined to kind of do everything, have everything, of course you can save right before doing it. I know save scumming is kind of looked down upon, but it's your story. You know? I feel like if you want the challenge of doing it honorably, play honor mode. You know? If you don't like going back, accept the consequences. But if you really, really want to do everything, have everything, etc., then quick save right here. You can always do it again. Or quick save as you go if you don't want to go back that far. No one's judging. And if they're judging, you don't need to be their friend. Okay?
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us. Please. Before they return. They return.
I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Alright. As I am a strength-based character, I'm going to use strength. Take the guidance. Woohoo! I think it's funny she just like cracks it like that.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more subservient, should it prove a threat.
Okay. So we're going to attempt to do this. It's a high roll. Look at that. For those of you that don't know, when you've got things that add into a roll and you tap escape, it calculates it for you.
The creature
Doesn't
seems
quickly.
unaware of your interference. It relaxes in your hands.
Ooh, we got an us.
Free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed.
What should I call you?
Us. We are us.
Great. To the helm. Let's go.
To the helm we go. We are going to the helm.
Yeah, come on, cute baby. I don't know about other people. I love us. So it's always worth saving him. Saving them. Don't think that intellect devourers have a gender. So I like to save them. Their gender is cute. How did I forget this one? See, making you do everything. Somehow I failed to pick that one up. Alright. The obvious benefit here is that now you have an extra ally. Intellect Devourers actually do a pretty decent amount of damage, so they're really helpful in this upcoming fight. And spoiler alert, if you save us now, you do find him again later. Ooh, I almost forgot to come collect everything off this table. Good thing this was still here. So we're gonna take the brain.
Another brain.
Grab this necklace, unlock this chest, and take everything out of it, then pick up the chest. Hooray! Again, you're gonna want all the chests. Trust. You want all the chests. If you've taken any damage, there's your chance to rejuvenate.
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge?
Weird
I'll trust my
camera angle.
own judgment.
Cane yank.
My camera angles have been a little wonky today. Okay. Before you go in there, and remember, if you click the door, you're going straight into a combat.
Action, not reaction.
No time to dally.
Just need to make sure that they are out of the way before I do this
will
part.
never believe this.
Okay. During the upcoming fight, there's going to be reinforcements that arrive. The reinforcements come in through this hallway. By collecting the chests and taking a minute to place them carefully, you can stop the reinforcements from coming in, making a difficult combat impossible. And yes, at this level, it's basically impossible to fight everything. Why would you do this? Why are we going through the world? There you go. In case you don't know, you click and drag, use your center mouse button to move an object. As we're stacking these, we need to make sure to stagger them. So that they fill the gap as much as possible. So it should look like this, where it's staggered on both sides. The creatures that come through here have the ability to fly, so it's really important that you stagger those chests so they can't fly over them. Regroup, and here we go.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Connect the nerves. Nerves. We will connect them.
Okay. These two will almost always go first. Pray that the Mind Flayer is able to keep this guy busy. Always check and see what resistances an enemy has. So our Cambion here has a rare weapon that we want to get our hands on. So we want to try and kill him before we get out of here. We have 15 turns to do it, and we can rely on our Mind Flayer here to do the majority of the damage, but you have to be patient. Okay? He's going to be fire, lightning, cold, and poison resistant, with a lesser resistance in bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, which means that attacking him head-on is really not going to do much. I'm going to go this way.
Take me on.
Again, do yourself the favor of collecting things as you go. If nothing else, you don't really have a whole lot at this point in the game. Another tip, if you plan on doing more archery than not, is to equip crossbows prior to this combat. I only do it if I'm playing a class that needs the help. If I'm playing a fighter class, I'm just gonna hit things. There we go. Us can do a pretty decent amount of damage, so I do like to use him.
Can't give up. Victory awaits.
Again, using Lae'zel's jump is a huge benefit. So now she has a lot further she can go.
Concentrate. Let's see
what we have here.
So like in our first fight, we're going to have Tav go left and Lae'zel go right. We're going to have Shadowheart go center, pick up the purple goo grenade. It's basically a big bomb. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the Mind Flayer with a healing spell. Again, we want to keep him alive at least as long as the Cambion, because he's going to do more damage than we are. There we go. Meanwhile, Tav is going to come pick these up. And just use my dash to get over here. So, we're going to jump. Which is going to give us a little bit more distance. Originally, if I had just run it, I would have ended here. Now I'm able to get all the way in
catch
here.
a break.
So that jump really makes a difference. We're gonna drop our tanks. This game has a unique trait that is referred to as magic pockets. If you go into this menu, which is your tab button, at any time, you can shift items even in the middle of combat. So for instance, I know Shadowheart's going to need all of the healing potions. So we're just going to give them all to her right now. And I need this nautiloid tank. These things here. Now, when hit with fire, these tanks will explode. Exploding is what we want. He might be fire resistant, but with enough fire, anything takes damage. Fun fact. He also wiggles around, so you gotta kind of get them next to him, but mind his wiggling. There we go. There we go. Okay. Explosive set. I'm gonna end my turn. We're just gonna start running us up towards our front line here.
Need to act fast. Swift and lethal.
Go to Lae'zel next. Have her pick everything up. For the sake of this playthrough and kind of teaching and everything, I will be gathering every possible NPC.
I'm ready.
But if you know you don't want to have Shadowheart or Lae'zel or any of them, you're definitely going to want to make sure to take all of the loot off of them prior to finishing this round. And I'll kind of tell you when a good time for that is. So we want to keep our dude alive, so we're going to throw a potion so that it lands at his feet. That will also heal him. Make sure not to throw it at him. Otherwise it does count as attacking him. That doesn't go well. Oh, good. That was a good hit.
Maybe not the best time.
Second round of enemies incoming.
Hurry, before they strike.
Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and loot these. Pretty sure this one has nothing. Yep. And I'm just going to leave my Tav here, because Tav's going to be the one to run in and grab that sword once we have it. Because I'm playing a tiefling, she'll be able to resist the fire and the explosion best. So she's going to be the first pick for who I want kind of running into that situation. Because I don't currently have a bow equipped, and I didn't really think about putting one on there, I can always do that now. It counts as an action, but then at least she has it. Again, this combat is all about patience. You are just waiting it out at this point.
Talk to me.
Okay, to keep him alive, so we're going to, again, take potion, throw it at the ground next to him. Stay alive, fool. If you really feel like it, you can also bump him up a little. Now, once the Cambion becomes more injured than the Mind Flayer, then you're in a good position to start letting the Mind Flayer take damage. Because if the Cambion dies before the Mind Flayer will turn on you. So you kind of need them both to die when you do this explosion.
Time to strike. No time to waste.
Let's do a little damage.
Or your spine is mine.
If the ship hits the ground, we're dead. You've made a grave mistake.
There we go. Cambion. Yeah, that's the one that like never has anything. Okay. Alright.
Stay focused. I am fury. I am death.
Focus. I need to reach the transponder.
And take this one out. Alright.
Taking position.
Lae'zel's gonna be the person ready at the transponder for when we have the sword. She could sit and shoot the guy and everything else, but for the moment, let's not assume that we're gonna get out of this. Our barricade that we left in the hallway may not work, so it's best to have someone wait at the console at least until we've seen that it does definitely work.
Ready.
Alright. At this point, we're starting to see a little bit more of what we want. We want them both to be injured. We just want to make sure that Commander Zulk is worse off. So we're actually going to just take a couple steps back and hold on this round. Let him do some damage. Let him do some damage. I'm gonna bring Tav back here to get ready to deal with that. Take a pathetic shot. Most arrows aren't going to do it. Bring us over here just to keep him out of harm's way. Now you're just kind of in a position where you can do some damage. Keep in mind, if you use your firebolt and you accidentally hit one of these, you're going to get that explosion prematurely. Don't do that. Shadowheart has Sacred Flame. Use that instead. It doesn't work very often, but neither does Archery at this point. Again, we're keeping Lae'zel off to the side so that we can run if we need to.
Connect to the transponder.
Ignore the devil. We must take the transponder.
Lae'zel's going to be annoyed that we're not just leaving. She'll survive
What
it.
should I do?
Nice.
Victory
Sometimes
awaits.
it does hit. Oh yeah.
Come a little closer.
Now let's see if our barricade worked. I have been surprised at how these guys can wiggle around these barricades when they choose to fly. Which is how I learned to stagger them. So they should be good to go. Oh man, we didn't do any damage. It's not helpful. There's that. And that. Now we need to evaluate. Okay, he's got 40 points. He's still got 80. At this rate, Zulk's gonna kill him first. So we need to heal him again. Dummy, stay alive. Just enough to keep him from going down. Again, this is really about patience. We now have 8 rounds to kill them off so we can take the sword.
Your spine is mine.
There we go. Okay,
My faith will protect me.
check our our numbers again, 35 and 64. Now, assume that the explosion blowing up those tanks is going to do about 30 points of damage. If it does 30 points of damage, then we need them to both be at roughly 30 hit points. Here we go. Okay, 31, 54. Not there yet.
Let's finish this.
One more time. Just need him to last another round or so. Assuming he does damage this round.
I am death.
I know this is tedious, but let me tell you. The sword is worth it. Of course you missed. The amount of time this fool misses.
Got to focus.
Stay alive, my dude. Just a little longer. Right now we're basically keeping the Mind Flayer right about where we want him, around that 30 hit point mark. But we still need to get the commander down another 20 points before we can safely say that yes, it is good to go. Come on. The amount of missing. And there are other ways to do this. Obviously, you can bring everybody in and have them all to do some damage. But just keep in mind that dying here, if you don't get time to like resurrect whoever goes down, is a permanent death. So if Lae'zel or Shadowheart gets killed because you're trying to do this and you're not keeping them far enough away, there we go. Then it will end in them just being dead on the beach. So you really do need to be cautious. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Turn.
Can't afford to let up.
We're gonna go one more round into this. And we're gonna prepare to do that fireball.
On I
So
go.
I'm gonna back up. Probably a little more.
Time to strike.
Here we go. Nice. Perfect. So, because we're in
Got to concentrate.
at the same time here, we're going to do her turn first. Bye-bye.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Switch to our tab. Let's see, they're all the way over here, so we need to... Whoop. We're gonna grab that. Grab that. Dash.
On my way.
And get back here. Another really important note is that
Let's finish this.
the characters have to be in a certain proximity to this to safely make it out as well.
I will ascend.
So at this point, everyone's close enough. You have the loot that you wanted. Now's your last chance to kind of make some decisions. I like to make sure that Tab is carrying everything of value. You can do that by just right-clicking. I'll even go in here and take these, because you never know. It could go badly. You might decide, hey, I don't want Lae'zel, or I don't want Shadowheart, or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that you've kind of got all of your loot out of it. I also take this moment to consider, do I really want to dress like this? Do I want to steal one of their outfits? Because it's a free action to do this. Ah. Oh, I guess you can't do it in combat. You used to be able to do it in combat. Point is, get all the gear that you want off of them before you click on this.
The helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
apologize for my graphics. They are not up to par. My computer's not quite that. So there's some gaps in my video here. Usually pops in right about there.
As you wake, the tadpole squirms in your skull.
All right. We have landed. Where have we landed?
Chaos of the crash site confuses the landscape. You'll need to find a settlement or landmark, and you'll need to do it quickly. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
All right. So I know my method for getting the flaming sword, the Everburn blade, is a little time consuming, but especially if you're going to do this on tactical or honor mode, it is much better to just spend the time waiting for them to beat each other up than it is to get in there and fight, because they will turn around and start attacking you if you're attacking them. So it's just high risk. Very, very high risk. Okay.
Have to keep going.
So, welcome to the nautiloid crash site. Oh my goodness. Just don't even know what's going on with my voice today. Fun fact, if you sleep for the night before talking to Shadowheart or going after any of the others, there's like a cutscene that only you get. And you can only get it if you camp at this moment. There's no good reason to camp at this moment, but if you did, you get a cool cutscene. I'm not going to do it because I want to kind of carry on. Alright, so I'm gonna wake her. We want to be friends. We want to be friendly friends.
You're alive. I'm alive.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Doesn't matter. We did make it.
True. Seems like we're the lucky ones, judging by all the corpses strewn about. I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Well, now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
You want to stay together?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Agreed. Let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that.
Aw.
Lead the way.
Shadowheart going soft on me. Okay, so Shadowheart starts with a 13 armor. Depending on what your class is, Commander Zulk actually drops a set of scale mail. I start with scale mail, but it's also a better option for Shadowheart. So, since I'm playing a fighter, and I have decent armor already, we're going to give that to Shadowheart. That's going to give her just a little bit more protection. Not a significant amount, but a little bit more. Obviously, we chose to keep her, so we're going to do that. Take a moment to kind of like observe weapons and everything. Let's make sure that we're well kitted out. See if there's something better she could be carrying. Let's see, she can't use that. She can use the hand axe, but it's about the same. So she's probably as good as she's going to get right now, right? And then, of course, before stepping forward, do your levels. So, great reason to choose fighter is you get action surge. Action surge allows you to get one extra action. You get a new one for a new action surge for every combat you go into. You can only use it once per combat, but it gives you a bonus action. So if you've got an enemy that's almost dead, you can get it dead. It's very, very helpful. I highly recommend it. Even if you only do 2 levels and get that one bonus, it's worth it right out the gate. Shadowheart starts as a trickster domain. I'm not a fan. I would much rather do life, light, or storm, or tempest is technically what that is. I'm also going to make her entirely support right out the gate. I don't need her to do damage. I need her to ensure that the tank, the fighter, my Tav in this case, is alive and stays alive. So I'd much rather pour her spells into that specific role.
Need to find a
Okay,
way forward.
clear the beach. Step 2, clear the beach. There's not a ton of stuff on the beach, but there's enough. Yes, it looks like I'm passing things up. I just have like a circuit that I do. If you're playing... Hi, gentlemen. Nice to see you. If you're playing
Must be a settlement somewhere
either
nearby.
tactical or honor mode, remember that you're going to be spending 80 points of food per night. You want to pick up everything. Everything. That guy only ever has a letter, and it's a sad letter, and I don't like the letter. It makes me sad. Okay. So you want to pick up everything right out the gate. Get your first
No
waypoint.
traps, please.
If you happen to be playing a rogue and you feel confident and you pick up a lockpick there, which sometimes it varies, by all means, attack the ancient door. That will benefit you later, but we're going to sneakily use the trapdoor instead.
More of those wretched things.
So, like I said, we're going to do a circuit. I like to go all the way up and then come back down.
Open up.
Grab the last couple of things here. That's almost always a hat, if you really want the hat. I mean, you can make money off of it. Fun tip if you're doing tactical or honor mode, I would stealth through this rather than doing this combat. Stealth, climb over the rocks, over this way, jump off this side. That'll give you access to the rest of your starting NPCs, Astarion, Gale, and Lae'zel. Then come back and fight them. It is all too easy to get yourself kind of
Better be cautious.
beaten up here. I mean, they're just intellect devourers, but
Everything.
yeah. It's not hard to get in too deep with them when you're playing tactical or honor mode. So I like to sneak in so that I can get further in.
One strike.
here's where that action surge becomes useful. Bang. Again, be careful using a flaming sword around flammable things, but I do have the benefit of being a tiefling, which means I take less damage. If you're not playing a tiefling, be careful. A good mind is very dangerous. Hey Doran, thanks for stopping in and saying hi to me. Alright. I'm teaching people how to play this game. Because I've been talking to folks who struggle with it a little bit. So we just want Shadowheart to have a clean line of sight. Just gonna do that. So she feels like she's making a difference.
You fight well.
Even though Tav's going to
Perhaps our
take her.
survival isn't such a distant prospect.
Let's have a look.
I don't know why it does that. Just like grabs things from underneath. Alright. Always. You're the best. Do make sure you loot this guy. You're gonna want that rapier for Astarion if you're gonna have him in your party. It's gonna be the best weapon for him right out the gate. Always loot this guy, because he always has a potion of speed. That's gonna be very helpful later. I like to come around this way. Grab this guy over here. Oh, you did miss me getting the sword. It wasn't all that exciting. I told people to be patient and stand there and pick at him with arrows and keep the mind flayer alive. And then blow him up, like I do. So we're going to just go right past Astarion real quick and grab the things down here. And y'all, don't lockpick this, it's a waste of a lockpick.
Everywhere.
Just open it
I'll
anyway.
take that.
Somewhere in this wreckage will be some gold. So it's a helmet and gold. And I like to give the helmet to Shadowheart right away. Okay. There's a lot of benefits to choosing fighter. Like I said, even if you only do the first 2 levels, it's worth it. Yes, Astarion, I hear you. I hear that you need help. I'm coming. You don't really need help, you just need to trick me. But it's fine.
In the mud around that rock.
I always forgive you. You know, the command drop method does work. It just doesn't always work. So I decided, for the sake of the tutorial, to go the patience route, because that will always pay off. But yes, another way of getting it, if you're fortunate enough for that to work, is to
I wonder what the next move is.
change Shadowheart so that she has command, and then command him to drop the sword. Again, I went the long route because I wanted a guarantee,
Never mind.
but
Mind my step.
when it works, gosh, it works well. So thanks for reminding me of that, Doran.
Something's on my
Happy to
mind.
share that one as well.
Hurry. I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass.
Patience is good
You
to
can
learn
kill
early.
it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
Easily. Stand back. For those of you who are interested in romancing
There.
Astarion,
Can you see it?
the biggest thing for that is to trust him. Even when he's holding a knife to your throat, trust him. Even when he's trying to bite you in your sleep, trust him. No matter what, trust him. That's what endears him to you.
Not a
The
sound.
blind trust.
Not if you want to keep
Not
that
being good or evil.
darling neck of
Blind
yours.
trust.
And you, keep your distance. No need for this to get messy.
I need her alive. Stow that blade, or I'll show you just how messy things can get.
Ah, promises, promises. But I have other business, I'm afraid. Now, I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Nod? Splendid. And now you're going to tell me exactly what you and those tentacled freaks did to me.
What the hells are you talking about?
Don't play dumb, you little... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
Gentlemen, I always get excited. I just keep it in. I'm just keeping it in. Again, what you do here doesn't matter. But there's no reason to do the roll. He just lets you go. Just tell him the truth, he lets you go. Astarian's on the screen.
You're
I'm always excited.
not one of them.
I don't know if anyone has noticed,
They took you,
but I have an issue.
just the same as me.
I have an issue.
And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
In case it wasn't clear that I have a preference or a preferred character, I might. Apology accepted. I might have done the same.
A kindred spirit. My name's Astarian. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me. My, you've been busy. So, did you learn anything about these worms while wandering the ship?
Oh, yeah. They're gonna turn us into mind flayers.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
You should travel with me. Our odds are better together.
You know, I was ready to go this alone. But maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And anyone that can crash a mind flayer ship and walk away seems like a good person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
Hooray. So first things first, because it's so easy to forget. The second I get him, give him the rapier. Take the rapier. I also like to send him all of my lockpicking. Looks like I haven't picked up any disarms, so here's hoping I do. This is also the point where you can start sending things to camp. Go to camp, things. Things that you're not going to need until much later. Go to camp, go to camp. Food can go to camp. This is also a good opportunity, now that you're kind of here, to go and grab anything from camp that you might have if you got the DLC, for instance, which I have. There's extra potions and food and stuff that can be very helpful. If you're playing tactical or honor mode and you have the DLC, absolutely drop everything at this point. Go to camp, get your potions. You will need them. So, just a little sidestep for those of us with the DLC. And if you're lucky, and your game is glitched out a few times, or you've been dropped a few times, you'll have more than one chest. Which, it looks like I don't today. But yesterday, or 2 days ago, when I started my new honor mode, I had just recently been kicked from my game, so I had 2 chests. That's always nice. Okay, there's also a new camp chest system. So if you click over here, it'll open all your chests in camp. Really cool. Okay, so detour. We want that. We want that. We want that. Mind reading, if you're into that, obviously grab those. If they're in the backpack, they don't count as food. And then I like to put my extra clothing in there. Because of course I've got my Twitch set. Yeah. And then if you're like me and you like to dye your armor and stuff, now's your moment to kind of play with that. I really like that a lot. Give yourself a cape if you've got the capes. Anyways, for those of you without DLC, obviously that doesn't apply. But there we go. Just take that brief little detour. And we're gonna go back to gathering people. I know the mask is your favorite. The mask is really cool because it gives you the ability to disguise yourself. For the sake of the playthrough, I'm not gonna use it because I'm going to assume that most people don't have the DLC, which I think is a fair assumption. Do remember to use your short rests, not just to heal you, but because it resets certain things, and depending on what characters you have with you, that can be important. For instance, if you have Will,
a mind flayer, and it's hurt.
you're definitely going to want to use your short rests.
That thing's bound to be dangerous, even if injured. Best be
Obviously, you can talk to the mind flayer, but it's icky. Why would you do that? Brilliant.
Death is too good for it.
I'm a big fan of just killing the damn thing. Why risk it, you know? For the sake of story,
Dead
sure.
goblins over there.
But
Worth checking the supplies, maybe.
not a fan. Reasonable, right? Especially when I have friends, gentlemen, who like to make out with the mind flayer, which is not a great plan.
What's going on with that room? Looks
Okay.
unstable somehow.
For those of you that don't know, this is how you get Gale. If you're not playing on honor mode, save. Save. Again, I'm not going to judge you for save scumming. I've done it. I think everybody's done it at least a couple of times in this game. I have friends who actively, vehemently hate save scumming, who have owned up to the fact that they've had to do it in this game. We all do it. Tell the story you want to tell. No shame. Just save. Save frequently.
Approach the sigil on the stone.
And don't be afraid to go back.
Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
Only slightly? No. I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna poke the danger.
A hand? Anyone?
But yeah, we know we got a sense of humor.
Ow! Perhaps I should have clarified? A helping hand?
Oh,
Anyone?
you want me to pull you out? Right. My bad. Aw. I'll talk to you later.
That's it.
Go be responsible.
Go on. Keep pulling.
Oh.
Aha. Oh. Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
At introductions?
At magic. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the nautiloid as well.
Yes, I
And I
was.
can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
Couldn't have phrased that more repellently myself.
No use sugarcoating it, is there? The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers? It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided. You don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
I mean,
You
I
seem
knit,
to know
but
enough about our condition to realize it's beyond most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt, but I find myself hoping to be in the presence of the few. You don't happen to be one of them.
My hands are better suited to less delicate pursuits. I can offer you a swift end, but I can't cure you.
As we've established, few enough can. It's not exactly a common affliction. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Sounds like a plan. Join me.
Most excellent. A parasite shared is a parasite halved. Or something to that effect. Oh, but before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
All right. Welcome, Gale of Waterdeep. Alright, you get to choose his wizard class. Wizard classes all have special features. Special features can be very important. Personally, I am a fan of Abjuration because you get the Arcane Ward. If it's your first time playing, this can be a complete lifesaver. Or Divination. Portent dice give you the ability to re-roll a dice roll that's not so much in your favor. For the sake of the playthrough, we're going to go Abjuration. Always get Magic Missile. Always get Magic Missile. Always get Magic Missile. Always get Magic Missile. It's broken. it's broken. You want it. I like to get Ice Knife as my secondary, and I immediately pull those two for those. Grease is great, but you can also find bottles of it. And Witch Bolt is good, but I find that it's better suited to longer combats, bigger enemies. For the time being, you're not going to be up against anything that is excessively difficult to kill. However, that will come in handy once you get into fighting the goblins in the Goblin Game. Okay. Now, before we wrap up this stream, we've got one more ally to collect. Before I grab Lae'zel, I like to run up here and grab the shovel.
I hear shouting up ahead.
Fun fact,
We should check it out.
only one
But
person
be
in the party has to have a shovel for you to shovel. Nice. And then we'll just kind of come back up here. Turn around. Let's grab Lae'zel. Again, save.
You think it's dangerous?
Zoro was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
Okay. So, we're going to go Deception. We have a Deception proficiency. That proficiency comes from our Charlatan background. And if you run your cursor over it, it'll tell you why you have the bonuses.
She's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
Easy approval point from Gale.
You didn't hear it. Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
We'll go ahead and see if we can get some information. Why not? I'm in dire need of healing. Where is this camp?
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
Thanks, you guys.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Say please.
Never.
Easy approval points. A little attitude goes a long way when it comes to Shadowheart and Astarion.
Hear goblins before you see them.
For the sake of this playthrough, we are going to take everybody.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
A simple thank you wouldn't go amiss.
You may as well suggest a wyvern bow to worms. The cure I offer will suffice as thanks.
All right, we journey together. Let's find this creche.
The party's full. You'll need to make room.
No. You can meet me at camp.
Very well. But heed my words.
The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki.
A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it.
I
will be at your camp.
It's cool.
Do not keep me waiting.
I will be keeping you waiting. But you'll survive it, I swear. Alright. Well, before I wrap up this stream, we're gonna go grab a couple more things. If you run around the outside here, they don't really see you. Although it's pretty easy to avoid the fight with them. You can also kind of go up and over the rocks that way. Doesn't really matter. We're gonna come back out here towards the ruins, and I'm going to grab the 2 digging points right outside of the ruins real quick. There'll be one in this corner. Something also to keep in mind is if you know where something is buried, just dig in the spot. It'll still show up.
What's that?
Although Shadowheart did manage to find it. But that's all that can be said for that, though. Okay. And there's a chest here. Chests are helpful. I recommend them. If you're into alchemy, there's some ingredients down here. And the skeleton down here by this actually has a potion and some money in it as well. Now,
How delicious.
a great trick that was shown to me that I love is that Astarion can pick the lock on this hatch. It's not an easy thing to pick, but it's worth giving it a try. We've got a couple of tools, so we'll go ahead and burn them trying to do this. Come on. Maybe we look like a fool. There. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you can get through this hatch, it takes you directly to the fight to get to Withers, rather than having to go through the entire dungeon to get to him. So it's a nice shortcut. There's nothing wrong with going through the dungeon. Obviously, more XP. I just like to have Withers sooner than later. Sooner than later, if I can help it.
What to do? Wonder if the gods are watching me.
So, in our next episode, I will be doing the ruins, which is awesome. I'm gonna just save there. But I'm going to take a break. So, I'll be taking a break. I will probably be on again today, and I will be clipping all of these things so that it's kind of focused in on things like the combat and things like that. But yeah, if you don't catch me later today, I will be doing this every morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I look forward to seeing you all there.